One of the biggest hindrances in life for me has been a mental blockage that I've dealt with for years and years. For most of my life, I've always believed that one of the reasons that I haven't achieved or attracted something that I desperately wanted in life is because of that one thing. Now, you might wonder what that one thing is, which is funny because in reality, I don't think I could tell you myself due to the one thing's very own nature. Let me explain. When merely fantasizing about my goals, my thoughts are crystal clear. I can smell it, taste it, and see it. However, as soon as I have to confront them, they tend to shift form and change by either distancing themselves from me or get behind some sort of invincible barrier. But here's the catch. Even though I'm describing it as if it was out of reach, from my perspective, it has always been one step away. For example, at the very moment of writing the outline for this video, I believe that the only thing separating myself from finishing this video is because of my lack of motivation. If I could only fix that one thing, then I would be well on my way of finishing this video for you. But for some reason, I believe that I don't have enough motivation or enough knowledge to expand on this topic to the standards that I believe you, who's watching, will hold me to. But the funny thing is that the slow output of videos aren't even A, due to lack of my motivation, but rather a symptom of a much larger problem, which is my lack of preparation and planning, and B, I haven't even put out enough videos for you to even have a standard to hold me to, which makes this even weirder. Also, currently I'm rather broke, or at least not rich by any means, and one of the beliefs that I used to hold as to why I'm not as financially successful as I would like to be is because, well, I don't know how to start building wealth. But then I started to read a couple of books and understood how to begin the process of saving, investing, and creating content. But then, the one thing holding me back from prosperity was that I didn't know what I should create or invest in. Then I solved that problem, but I didn't have any customers, viewers, or connections, and so then that became the one thing holding me back, and this has unfortunately been going on and on for years and years. Now you might see what I was talking about when I was trying to explain the nature of the one thing. It seems to always be able to change as soon as I've identified it, and for whatever reason, it seems to always be outside of me. And also, weirdly enough, the thing is almost always a small little thing that is supposedly holding me back from massive success. However, the real reason why I haven't attracted or reached the aspirations I have in life is not due to one impossible or extremely difficult hindrance that is holding me back. This may sound like another rah-rah speech that you've heard a million times before, but the reason I believe I haven't done or achieved the things that I aspire in life is because I have a tendency to underestimate how little it actually takes for me to get going and get the ball rolling in the short term, and overestimate how much output I actually need to put in on a daily basis to see progress in the long term. This results in me plunging into things with an insane intensity from the beginning, which almost always ends up in me burning out, blaming outside circumstances, and starting and stopping what I'm doing in an uneven pace. The second order consequence of this behavior is that by doing all of that and not seeing the results in the present moment makes me feel like a failure, because deep inside I feel like I'm entitled to be further ahead in my journey given how much I put in on the front end. In other words, my problem is that I tend to look too far ahead and focus on problem number 64 instead of zooming in and focusing on the challenge that's right ahead of me. We, or perhaps I, should say that I have been prone to overwhelm myself by taking on too much at once. But as of late, I've tried to picture the process of achieving my dreams differently, almost a bit like building the first wall of a castle. Let me explain. In order to build your dream castle, you don't start off by announcing to everyone you know that you're going to build it and then wait for it to manifest itself without doing anything. Subsequently, you don't do it by matching together 3 bricks at the same time and then suddenly stop because you can't decide on which color the interior of your master bedroom is going to be. Equally, you don't get the castle done by looking and admiring at other people's castles that have already been built over a longer period of time and then judge yourself because your low effort sandcastle that you've spent 3 hours on every other week isn't on par with the castle of a famous castle builder on YouTube. The famous actor Will Smith had a brilliant analogy about this that inspired me to make this video, which I would like to quickly show you.
And I learned very young that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that every single day. And soon you have a wall. And soon you have a wall.
The reason I'm not all that I could be are many, but the biggest reason I haven't achieved all that I could be is because I haven't taken the first easy steps to get going, and most importantly, I haven't been consistent enough with anything for a long period of time. I've always been prone to rush my projects, get stuck in the details, or talk myself out of things I know deep in my heart that I'm capable of doing.
I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I'm have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is. The task is never huge to me. It's always one brick.
I truly believe that many of us overestimate the amount of things we will be doing in the coming 10 years, but severely underestimate what could be done by us in a span of 1 year if we just applied ourselves to something with conscious effort little by little every day. And in order to embark on this journey, I believe that the key is to get to yes with yourself first before you accept the challenge. Meaning that before any challenge has been undertaken, you promise that whatever the goal is, you're going to get it done, and you're not going to focus on how long it takes, but rather how many repetitions you need to undergo. This has helped me realize that it's not about idly waiting for time to pass, but rather putting the repetitions in day by day, little by little. I recently read a book by William Ury called Getting to Yes with Yourself, and in the book, the author has an interesting passage related to today's topic that I'd like to share with you all. He says, taking responsibility for your life means owning your faults and failures as well as our successes and strengths. It takes honesty and courage to do so, but only then will you be able to say that you have genuinely put yourself in your own shoes. That's how you can occupy your shoes fully, holes and all. Furthermore, self-responsibility is often confused with self-blame. However, it is in fact quite the opposite. Self-blame looks backward, judging what is past. Self-responsibility looks essentially forward, figuring out how to address the problem that's ahead. And that is the power of self-responsibility when twinned with self-understanding. Self-understanding without self-responsibility runs the risk of dissolving into self-pity. Self-responsibility without self-understanding can deteriorate into self-blame. To get to yes with yourself, you need both. The work of putting yourself in your shoes gives you the understanding to then take responsibility for your life and your actions. End quote. So, with that being said, I don't want this to be another feel-good motivational video without action. So, I'm going to commit to one of the things that I've wanted to do for a long time, and that thing is being able to have a coherent conversation in French and later on move to a French-speaking country and live there for a couple of months. I chose French as a minor in high school but never took it seriously. And it wasn't until I graduated high school and entered college that I realized how much I actually wanted to learn French. For many years, I've seen the capability of speaking French as something that I'll do later in life, when all the circumstances line up perfectly and I'm ready. You probably know what I'm talking about. After one has made their first million, but before one gets married. After building that school in a third world country, but before you get kids. The same day when all traffic lights are green and you go home to find $1 million check on your doorstep. You all get my point. My goal is to put an end to that mental gymnastic, and at the moment we're all going through some tough times and we're all to some extent restricted in our ability to move due to the outbreak of COVID-19, and I see this as an exceptional chance to lay out the first brick of whatever castle we want to have in the future. So a year from now, I'm going to upload another video documenting what I've been able to learn in terms of French. I'm not going to focus on the future problems that could get in the way of it, nor am I going to overload myself and risk getting burnt out before I get any momentum. Instead, in the name of Will, I'm going to follow his analogy and lay a small brick every day to the best of my ability and then see how far I can go within the span of a year. If you want to follow me along this journey, use the comment section down below and comment what type of metaphorical castle you want to build for your own life, as well as which action you will take on a daily basis to get there. I was just about to apologize for my lack of ability to analyze every detail of a specific character, but then I realized that it's not that type of video today. It's a different type of analysis. This is a self-analysis which I've undergone, and hopefully a self-analysis that you might have undergone as well along with me. Edit. I also want to add that, like the video suggested, I've procrastinated this video for so long that I've actually already begun my journey of learning French well before this video was published. Nowadays, I average around 1 hour a day using different resources. One of those free resources is an app called Duolingo. The app has its pros and cons, and today I actually only use it solely to count how many days I've been practicing due to the fact that it has a really effective streak system. Even though I use it daily to count my streaks, to give you an idea of how I use it, I'd say that of that entire hour of practice, Duolingo is only 2 or 3 minutes of it. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed me open up a bit about myself, and hopefully putting my weaknesses on display may have brought us a little bit closer to each other. Thank you for watching this video, and please make sure to leave a like or subscribe if you want to see my channel grow. Peace.
But did you have to build up your own body a lot?
Yes, we trained for a year of physical training.
Yeah, before you started filming a
Before we started filming, before we ran one camera, we trained for a year.
Now, were you making other movies at this time? Or
no.
you were just focused on the training for a year?
For a year.